I've scaled over 5 different communities in fitness, over 75K a month in the past 6 months. So in this video, I'm gonna give you my full Skool SOP. What you guys are doing, a lot of you guys are looking around at what other people are doing, other fitness coaches, other brands, and you're seeing Skool and you're like, oh, I have to jump on this because it's a new opportunity. Shiny object syndrome, have to try it, okay? But for a lot of you guys, if you're not implementing the proper procedures within Skool, you're gonna get crushed, okay? I would say 95% of people who are actually trying to start Skool communities are not doing it out of a sense that it's actually helping them, but they're doing it out of a sense of shiny object syndrome. So what we're gonna go through today is my full Skool SOP. It's gonna be my longest Skool video ever. So right now, put this video in full screen, take your phone, put it off, do not disturb, get some notes, get a pen and paper, and let's lock in here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so about 6 to 8 months ago, I started implementing Skool within a lot of the health and fitness brands that I've been working a part of. Okay, these are in-person gyms, these are online gyms, online fitness coaches, online health brands. And I've been using Skool as not only a way to monetize audiences, okay, but to actually get high-ticket clients through Skool. Okay, and this is the main mechanism that I use Skool for. Why I like Skool so much is it's a method to educate people. It's a method to take someone who's cold, someone from an ad, someone from content, someone from a cold DM, and quickly get them educated, quickly have a level of reciprocity because you're giving away so much free value, okay? And then after that, ask for a meeting or make them an offer for your actual high ticket service. And I've been implementing this with all of pretty much 95% of the businesses that I've been working a part of. And I've spent well into 6 figures. I spend well over 6 figures a month on ads. I spend roughly around 120 to 30 grand a month on ads, not for myself, but across my clients. And all of that is mainly pushed through the Skool funnel. Okay. So I'm going to be talking about everything for Skool, from how to build Skool today, how to build your classroom, how to actually put together your offer, if you even should do Skool in the first place, because maybe you may not even need it at the point of your business that you're in, and kind of how you can get to 50K a month by using this. Okay, so let's jump into it. So just to show you some of my client results, Daz, he's using this funnel, just roughly around 40 to 50 grand a month with this. He has a decent sized following on Instagram and TikTok. Okay, so he has a bigger audience. Paul has a smaller audience. He does around 65K a month with this as well. He does hybrid in person and online. And Hashan was a total beginner. So if you're watching this, kind of, if you're making a decent amount of money and you want to make more, or if you're starting from scratch, it's kind of at a level that you can implement this with, on both extremes, if that makes sense. Okay. So pretty much the overall problem with Skool that I've noticed is Skool right now has been around for like 2 or so years, and it's been mainly used for the past year. And the amount of users is growing exponentially. And it's kind of like Facebook, for example, or Instagram, where more people use the app, okay, people are going to get numb to it, okay? About, let's say, a year and a half ago, it's like, oh, this is new, this is shiny, this is a new thing, okay? But now I'm noticing kind of a downtick if you're not positioned correctly. And what that kind of leads to is investment. So if you have maybe built a Skool in the past, or are watching this and you maybe already have a free Skool community or even a paid one, you'll probably notice something like this, where you'll put a lot of effort, you'll build a Skool, you build a massive classroom, you spend a couple of weeks or however long building this course or whatever, you maybe put it up on your social media, you get some members, maybe you get a lot of members, it doesn't matter, okay? But the caveat is these people don't convert, okay? They take no action, they lack seriousness, and they don't buy your stuff, okay? Or even if they're, let's say, buying like a low ticket, like $20 a month, they don't take the next level and ascend to your higher thing, or even book a call to ascend, okay? So this is the biggest problem with Skool. And what this leads back to is just investment. So when you position yourself as just another fitness coach selling similar solutions to other coaches, okay? Prospects treat you as a commodity. When you position yourself as just another fitness coach selling similar solutions to other coaches, prospects treat you as a commodity, just another person selling a commoditized solution. So what this means is At the end of the day, if I'm selling you, let's say, a piece of gold, okay? Gold is a commodity. The reason why it's a commodity is because gold in the US and gold in Saudi Arabia is priced pretty similarly. Maybe it's 1 or 2 or 3% different, okay? But gold is gold. The product is the same. Okay? So whoever can sell it for the least, people are going to buy because that's the only value, the difference. You're not getting difference in gold. Gold is gold. Okay? So a lot of you guys, oh, should I do Skool? Should I do this? At the end of the day, you guys are just selling similar solutions to other people, and you making a Skool where you're putting the same shit that everyone else is putting in there is not going to make this magical difference, and you're just going to make $100,000 a month. Okay, this is the first thing you have to realize. So going back a level in your business, okay, you have to realize, number one, are you commoditized? Are you doing the same thing everyone else is doing? And what I mean by this is your offer and pricing, okay? Is your offer the exact same? What is your transformation? What is your niche? And what is your price? Your NTP, okay? Are you targeting everyone? Are you helping anyone with fitness, anyone do anything fitness related, okay? What's the transformation that you're offering? Is your transformation specific? Okay, what's your pricing like? Oh, $100 a month, or are you selling, a high ticket premium service? Okay, and then what does your overall funnel look like? Okay, are you doing the same thing everyone else is doing when it comes to ads, content, outreach? Okay, are these the exact same actions that you're just doing, but just trying to push more volume into a commoditized offer, okay, into a commoditized system, which leads to you just doing more, let's say, reps with bad form? What's that going to lead to? Is that going to lead to gains? No. Okay. So all of this stuff from the jump. So forget Skool, for example. All of this stuff is just leading you to low investment. And Skool is just like solidifying that low investment because everything is the same as everyone else. Okay. You're doing the same content. Oh, you're sending your cold DMs, or you're doing the same thing. Stop. If you're a busy professional, all of this stuff that I've seen, okay, is just leading to the same results everyone else is getting. And the average fitness coach, I don't know if this is a very brutal statistic. The average fitness coach makes $2,000 a month, $2K a month. Okay. So it's a little bit tricky. So in terms of fitness, the last thing you need, especially within this niche, the last thing you need are low investment clients. The last thing you need. Okay. When it comes to, let's say you're doing for example, let's say you're running a business and you are doing car washing. I'm just using this as an example. It doesn't matter how invested your clients are. You are doing the service for them. Okay. They could be like, oh, I don't give a shit. Here's the money. Go do the service. Or they could be, oh, I'm super interested in seeing you do the service. Here's the money. At the end of the day, they're going to get a clean car because you're cleaning the car for them. Okay. But with fitness, you're not there with them in the gym being like, come on, push harder. Okay, you're not there at 6 a.m. being like, get out of bed. You're not there at 9 p.m. saying, don't eat that cookie. Okay, you're not like, you're not there to do this sort of stuff for them. So if you have low investment from these people, from these prospects, from the jump before they even buy your stuff, what do you think that's going to happen after they buy your stuff? You think it's just going to change? Oh, I'm just now going to change all my habits for 20 years. So how you start something is usually how you end it. Okay. So especially in fitness, especially this niche, you need investment from people because there's going to be no results in the back end. And when people have no results, what does that lead to? That leads to no case studies for you. That leads to you making it harder for yourself to get more clients, prove that your system works, and it just becomes a hassle. Okay. So it doesn't matter how good your program, check-ins, content, ads are, all of this stuff. If you're attracting low-level investment people, and then when you're coming in and being like, oh, I'm going to do Skool, I'm going to make this massive Skool, and I'm going to make it look so good, and I'm going to edit all this stuff. It's like you're now just doubling down on a bad set of cards, if that makes sense. Okay? Cool. So all in all with fitness. So with anything, obviously fitness or business related, people always want the most amount of value. This means that they want the lowest level of investment to achieve the most output. They want the least input to get the most output. Okay? And pretty much when all coaches in the market are offering the same solution, people's brains will automatically find the option with the lowest possible investment, which is pretty much a synonym for price. Investment is price. So when most people, most fitness coaches, same solution when it comes to, or even just same branding, all of this stuff, okay, posting your reels on Instagram, TikTok, okay, same back end. Oh, I'm going to build a program for you. We're going to do a check-in every 2 weeks, okay? People are just going to associate you with every other coach. There's going to be basically no differentiation. And then what's going to happen? Okay, people are just going to look for the lowest price option because gold is gold. I'm going to look for the cheapest gold. Okay, so pretty much when it comes to differentiation, what most coaches are doing, okay, is they go and they create their organic content. This content is very similar to other creators. It's modeled off of other people that they've seen. Maybe they're kind of doing a copying sort of strategy where it's like, oh, I've seen other people do this. I'm going to try this. Okay, not realizing that they're copying coaches who are also doing things wrong. Think about this. The average coach does 2K a month. You're going to copy a coach who's doing 2K a month. You're going to now make 100K a month? Probably not. Okay, B, you have no detached offer and niche. Okay, what is your offer? What is your niche? Are you helping a specific group of people or are you not? Okay, mostly commoditized offer, no differentiation in fulfillment. Okay, and then C, pricing somewhere in the middle of what most others charge. So instead of just pretty much most coaches come into the market, okay, most people are charging $200 a month. I'm going to charge competitively 150. They charge in the middle. Okay, this guy's charging 1,000. This guy's charging 500. This guy's charging 15. I'm going to charge in the middle. Okay, and then they have this lack of differentiation, and then thinking that that Skool is just going to totally change the game for them. Okay, and then what happens even more? This is just on a deeper level. But what happens even more is, for example, let's say John, this coach wants to make content. He wants to start a coaching business and make money. Okay. He looks at what other people are doing. He looks at the big guys in the space. Okay. Let's say Amy. Okay. Let's just say Amy she's an average fitness coach. Okay. 2K a month. John's looking at Amy. Okay. And then Amy is looking at Rory. And then Rory is looking at Sam. I'm just making these names up. Okay. But pretty much when there's so much copying and this original person who has the longest time in the market is most likely to be copied the most because they've been in the market the longest. Okay. This person at the start who did the initial wrong activities, who had the wrong structure, the wrong offer, I'm just helping anyone with fitness. Okay. Who achieved basically no growth but was in the market for the longest, is going to be copied by all of these other people. And it doesn't this guy, even though he's doing the wrong thing, this guy, John, who's copying this chain of people, thinks that it's the right thing. And he sees the following, he sees the likes, he sees the shares, he sees all of these flashy things and thinks that, oh my God, this guy must be making all this money. I'm just going to copy him. And then he achieves the exact same or less growth than the person he's copying. You're not going to surpass the level of person that you're copying. Okay? So this happens all the time. And this doesn't specifically just happen with content. This doesn't just happen with this happens with pricing. This happens with your offer. This happens with your ads. Oh, I'm going to copy the same ads everyone else is doing. Average coach is making 2K a month. This happens with Skool. Oh, so many other coaches are doing Skool. I'm going to do Skool. Okay? So it becomes crazy. And then, average fitness coach is doing 25. So I was wrong. It's not 2K. It's 2,500. My bad. My bad. So average annual salary of 30K a year is roughly 2,500 a month, which is pretty crazy. Okay. So the main problems that we have kind of hopefully derived, and I hope you guys are understanding, is pretty much just a level of commoditization. Okay, so you're offering the same service as others. And commoditization leads to low investment. And it all starts with you doing the same things everyone else is doing. So to show you how this works, okay, marketing and sales systems are commoditized. You're doing the same top of funnel things, same top of funnel styles, leading without uniqueness, selling instead of educating. Okay, all these same actions. Your offer is the same. It's the same commoditized service as others. So I'm going to help you, do anything fitness related. You're pricing competitively, somewhere in the middle. People are buying your service solely based on the price because it's the same as everyone else. So they're going to look for the least or somewhere in the middle, or maybe you get some lucky, you have a couple clients. Okay. These customers then don't have 100% emotional commitment because it's the same thing. It's commoditized. They're buying based solely on price. So it's like going to a steakhouse and then choosing the cheapest steak. You're not going to be you're not choosing that steak because it's the best steak. You're choosing the steak because it's the cheapest. And that leads to pretty much the client not having a high emotional commitment. And then when there's not a lot of emotional commitment, especially in fitness, that leads to bad client results, and it leads to clients being even more demanding. Okay. Because I always notice this. This results in, that like always the cheapest clients are the clients who are most demanding. I just find that. The clients who are like, here's 20K. It's like, okay, cool. Like do what you have to do. Here's 20K, do what you have to do. Okay. And this results in more of your time being diluted, servicing clients. Okay. And when you're stuck in this service mode where you're, I have to, respond to this guy, write a program here, do all of this stuff, that leads less time for you to work on the activities that actually got you the clients in the first place, or the actual revenue generating activities. Okay. That leads to less case studies or no case studies, and also less revenue because you're not charging enough. Okay. And then it's harder to get future clients. And then what you do now is, because you're kind of down on everything, it's harder to get clients, drop your price again to keep up with the competition. And then that just leads to you getting more clients who are less invested. And the cycle continues to repeat itself. It's cyclical. It's just time and time again. This happens all the time. And then after this happens a couple times, you lose confidence. And this is probably the most important thing. You lose confidence in your ability. You lose confidence in your business, yourself, your offer. And then you start to think, why don't I just go get a job at McDonald's? Why don't I just go back to my 9 to 5? Why don't I just go get a personal training job at LA Fitness? Okay. So that confidence will eventually come back. If this happens, I've seen this happen a lot, and it will bite. Cool. So this is how pretty much being uncommoditized now, I'm going to tell you kind of the solution to this big problem that I've been kind of pondering over, made me over 50K a month. So I went from pretty much being stuck around 7 to 10K a month. Okay. For the longest time, this is my first ever client rate. Here, paid me 3K. I was ecstatic, to pretty much being able to make 50K a month and pretty much be able to kind of do what I want. So I was pretty much, my initial story is, initially I was in medical school. Okay. I wanted to start a business. I wanted to become a fitness coach. I was looking around. I remember being in class in medicals, it was pre-med, right? And I was looking and talking to all of the students in pre-med, and everyone just was prepared to go to school for 15 years. Prepared to go to school for 15 years to make 250K a year. Okay. And this is Canada. This is Canadian dollars. 250K Canadian is like 180 US, probably 175 US. It's not a lot of money. Okay. So I was like, okay, I gotta start a business. I had fitness coaching. I did one show at that time. So I had a good physique, and I started fitness coaching. So, and then I pretty much, after a lot of hard work, a lot of grinding while everyone was out partying, all that sort of fun stuff, I got to 7K a month, and I was stuck there for the longest time. I was doing the same things as everyone else. I was just stuck in this kind of like what I outlined before, in this cycle, stuck at 7K a month. I was doing the same thing everyone else was doing. It wasn't until I actually got really good at ads is where I crushed my competition. Okay, no one else was running ads, or even to the level of myself. Okay, and after using that skill combined with differentiation through not only ads, but differentiation through offer building, my market selection, etc., I shot up to 50K a month, and now 60K a month I just recently had. Okay. So what I'm about to share with you, if applied to Skool, will make you more money guaranteed. So Skool, like I said, I want you to make sure that you understand this. If you're watching with me right here, this is one thing I want you to take away from this video. If you're going to take away something, is Skool is not your business. Skool is a mechanism within your business. Your business should be based on your main offer and your main niche and your main price. Skool is a mechanism to amplify that. If it's not amplifying, then that's probably something that you shouldn't be using. Okay, so pretty much the Skool method that I'm pretty much from here on out, I'm going to be talking about the actual Skool method that I pretty much use within the companies that I work within, and show you how to actually position Skool, like I said, as a mechanism, not as your main service. Okay, so let's say, for example, your overall goal is to make $1 million a year. You want to make $1 million a year. It's much easier to sell 100 people at $10,000 than 10,000 people at $100. Most people with Skool will make a low ticket community and then charge like 20 to 50 bucks a month and think that they're gonna, I just have to push more people in and do more volume. It's the same thing like I did, doing reps with bad form in the gym. More reps is not going to lead more gains when your form is bad, when you're just not doing the exercise correctly. So, so when it comes to ease, keep this in the back of your mind because most people are wanting to do this low ticket option. So what I've been implementing is instead of delaying or instead of going for the immediate, I'm just going to do low ticket or I'm going to just try to do 20 to 50 bucks a month or 100 bucks a month with Skool, delaying the immediate money and then using Skool as a free nurturing asset to then charge more. Okay? So pretty much most people, they're thinking, I want to start a Skool. It's like, okay, I'm just going to push people from ads, from DMs, from organic content to my paid Skool community and then monetize. What I have been doing is same top of funnel activities, ads, DMs, organic content, okay? And then pushing these people to a free Skool community to deliver value and to educate these people. Because without education, we have nothing. Education is the best form of marketing. Okay? So we don't want to be on calls with people who don't know anything about what we do. We don't want to jump on a call with someone who's like, I just saw an ad and I'm here to just see what's going on. You're going to have to go through a lot of objections. You're probably going to have to be really good at sales to get that person to close. And even if you do get that person to close, that person is probably going to be a pain in the ass to deal with later on, down the line. They're going to probably churn on month 2. This has happened with me. I used to not charge that much. I used to do a lot of cold sales, especially for when I was working with a lot of like brick and mortar gyms and stuff like that. Do a lot of cold sales to gyms for like very good offers, like don't pay me until I get X result, or like only give me this much now, like all this sort of stuff. And it was all to cold audiences without education, and these people would just churn like crazy. And it wasn't because my service was bad. It was genuinely because these people had low investment from the jump. So this is actually giving you more investment because people are educated off the jump. Okay? So what are the differences, I guess, between like low and high ticket when it comes to Skool? Okay, so there are still benefits to you doing low ticket if you have a few things in place. So there are some differences. Okay, I wouldn't recommend high ticket to everyone. I would recommend high ticket to about 80% of people who are watching this. The other 20%, I would probably recommend low ticket to. So I'm going to kind of go through the differences here. So pros and cons of high ticket. So when it comes to high ticket, okay, number one, it becomes sales heavy. Okay, so you have to commit time to selling. All sales transactions will be done through a Zoom call. You're not going to close someone for $5,000 over like a self-checkout. It's going to have to be done through a sales call. So you're going to have to take the sales call, or a salesperson within your organization. Okay, this is going to give you an upside from the jump. So if you're starting from scratch, you can sell your way through your lack of brand and trust. And this is probably one of the biggest advantages, okay? Because when you're selling high ticket from the jump and you're generating these meetings, you're going to have to, it does become somewhat sales heavy. And it doesn't really matter because when you're starting out from scratch, you have zero brand, you have zero, probably a smaller following, you have no social proof in this or proof of concept, case studies, etc. So you're going to have to sell your way through a lack of brand and trust. Okay, so it becomes sales heavy. Number 2, more cash up front. So you have more cash up front by selling high ticket. Number 3, better client results as there's more emotional investment. People are spending more money. They're therefore going to value it more. Number 4, higher priced things are usually harder to fulfill, but these things that are harder to fulfill are usually easier to sell. This means you can create a specific offer that solves every client need specifically and is a one-stop shop for everything within reaching the client's desired state. Okay? So because it is higher ticket, you can make it a more valuable solution. And when it's a more valuable solution, aka there's more mechanisms within your fulfillment, you're offering more, there's more groceries in your grocery bag that you're value stacking per se, it then becomes easier to sell. Okay. Next, end date programming. So people will usually pay more if they know that there's an end date to something. Usually it's around 10 times more. So if people know that, okay, I'm paying $5,000 and this is a 4-month program, that's like compared to someone paying, like they would rather do that in most cases than pay $300 a month. People will usually pay more when there's an end date. Okay. More complex delivery. So if you're solving every problem to ensure the client gets success and charging high ticket, then the delivery will be multifaceted and will take time to initially situate, resulting in you increasing your skill set. So this is another pro of high ticket. They're going to increase your skill set because there's more hands-on. Could also be a downside as well. Okay. So the cons of high ticket is, number 1, it's more time consuming, especially for sales. You're probably going to have to learn sales or hire someone who's really good at sales. Okay. If you need a good salesperson, I'm just saying. Okay. Number 2, you need to sell or hire great reps and manage these sales reps. Okay. Number 3, you need to be great at sales. Okay. Like I said. Number 4, it's more complex delivery. So if you're solving every problem to ensure the client gets success and charging high ticket, then the delivery will be multifaceted and will take time to situate. So that's also a con as well, like I said. So overall with high ticket, the upside is you get more cash up front. There is more emotional investment. The people will get results more often because there's more emotional investment. Okay. Usually it's most of the time easier to sell. Okay. When it actually comes to, I don't want to say it's easy because it's not easy. You're still going to have to learn sales. But when there's more value in what you're offering and you're positioning it specifically towards a specific niche that's solving a specific transformation and you're value stacking that, it will be easier to sell. Okay. So this is pros and cons of high ticket. Pros and cons of low ticket, okay, is pretty much it's pretty straightforward to fulfill. Okay, like all you're doing is you're pretty much like there's a self-checkout on Skool. It's just like, hey, go pay the money. It's recurring, etc. Bye-bye. Okay, very easy to fulfill. They kind of just do it themselves. It's a do-it-yourself process. This is a done for you / done with you process. Okay. There's no sales process. People just automatically purchase on a website, or you make a funnel one time and then people just go through the funnel. Okay. Number 3, you can focus more on building activities rather than operating with more time available. So because you're now not taking sales calls, you can focus more on other activities. It takes almost 0 hours weekly once set up. Only top of funnel activities are needed to continually drive more customers. Okay, so this means that once you already have, let's say, your low ticket school ready to go, you just now have to continually make sure that there's people going to it, eyeballs, content, ads, whatever you're doing. Okay. But the cons, in my opinion, for low ticket outweigh. Okay. So cons are it's merely impossible to sell without a large active organic presence. So if you're selling low ticket, you need a big audience organically. Especially in fitness, you need a big audience. When I mean a big audience, you need at least minimum above 50K on like Instagram, on like one platform. If you have YouTube, I would say it's probably around 25K. Okay, number 2, low ticket client results. Low client results is with low priced online courses. Okay, so with low ticket, people will see a success rate of roughly 1%. So the success rate is going to drop compared to high ticket. Churn is going to be roughly 10% on average month to month. It's going to be probably a little bit higher or lower depending on how you position yourself, but on average it's 10%. And then lastly, it's difficult to track client data as you are more hands-off. Okay, so you're not like in there, the trenches, building these programs, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't, refining your process, making your process better. You're kind of just giving people a course and saying, hey, go through it. And you're not getting really much feedback on that. So there's also the cons of that. But honestly, the biggest pros and cons of each is if you want to make $1 million, I want you to remember this. If you want to make $1 million, it's easier to sell 100 people at 10K than 10,000 people at $100. So it is going to take a lot more for you to make money with low ticket. Okay. It's going to take a lot more time, a lot more effort. Okay. They both take a lot of effort. It's just you kind of have to choose your battle. And in my opinion, I want client results. I want people to be emotionally invested. I want to understand and track all of my client data so I can make my process better. I want to talk to my clients. I want to build these relationships. So therefore, I think for most people, high ticket is a better option. Okay. If you're watching this and you're already doing, let's say you're already making over 30 to 50 grand a month, you already have a big active organic presence. Let's say you have 100K on Instagram, you have a massive YouTube or whatever, then simply making a low ticket school community, that's probably a very sure way to add another 10 to 15 grand a month on top of what you're already doing, because you're already pushing so many people through your Instagram and you're getting so many impressions for free that just pushing people to this is going to make you a lot of money. Kind of like what Nate Belmar did with his Skool community. He has like 200K on Instagram. He made a $20 a month Skool community, and now he's making like 200 grand a month. Okay. So it depends on kind of where you're at. So it depends on if you have a big audience or if you don't. If you're starting out, you have to go high ticket. That's the way to go. You have to learn sales. You have to sell, make your process good. If you already have a big organic presence, then low ticket is definitely your option. Okay. So I hope this breakdown kind of makes sense. And now I'm going to talk about kind of how to make a high ticket school community and how to kind of position this offer correctly. All right, so now that you have a foundation and you understand kind of how all of this is coming together, now I'm going to show you the prerequisites that you're going to need when it actually comes to setting your school up correctly as an online health and fitness coach. Okay, so there's a few things that come into play here. There's your niche, so who you're targeting, and then there's your transformation, then there's your price, and then there's your access channel. Okay, so what I'm going to be talking about now is specifically the market. Then I'm going to go into the transformation. Then I'm going to talk about price and access channel, all related to Skool. So then you can apply this to Skool, follow the process that I use with my clients. So then you can get to multiple 5 figures per month or potentially 6 figures, like some of my other clients. Okay, let's jump into it. So pretty much the first thing that you kind of want to understand when it comes to picking markets and scaling just online in general is it doesn't really matter how hard you're rowing. It matters what boat you're in. And 80% of the time, it's not our offer. It's not our acquisition channel. It's not if we're using the Skool funnel or if we're not using the Skool funnel. It's what market we're specifically targeting. Because if you're in a good market that, let's say, has the factors that are attractive, they, let's say, have a lot of money, these people. Let's say these people, normally spend a lot of money. Like these people are big spenders. Let's say that these people are easy to find. We can find these people very easily. Let's say these people have a big demand for the solution that we're wanting to supply. So compare that market with another market, we can easily see that, okay, even though maybe without these factors, with a good acquisition channel, with a good offer, we may be somewhat competitive, but just being in a good market is bad or is taken care of roughly, I can't even put a number on it. Let's say just 75 to 80%. Okay? The rest is important, but having this as a base is extremely important. Okay, so for example, I actually made a prediction about 6 months ago that hyper niche fitness markets with trend will explode. I made a video actually on this called selling booty programs is going to explode right now. And I actually found this guy on Instagram who kind of labels himself as the booty doctor, and he's doing well over 6 figures a month. Okay. And I've seen a lot of other people who are kind of doing this, and they're kind of very niched with their market of obviously helping, younger to middle-aged women grow their booties. It's very niche. It's a very tight market, and they're printing. Okay. So this was kind of my prediction. And also Sam Altman, who's the founder of ChatGPT and OpenAI, he says that you have to find a small market in which you can get a monopoly and then expand quickly. Okay? So what you're actually wanting to do when it comes to market selection, there's a few factors that I'm going to obviously go through, okay, that you're going to have to screen for. But you want to be extremely tight in the beginning, especially. Okay? You don't want to be unspecialized. A lot of people say, oh, I'm going to be unspecialized. I am going to help anyone do anything fitness related. And then I'm going to start out like this, see what kind of people maybe I work with, which people I like working with, and then maybe niche in a little bit later. This is like saying that you're going to stab yourself and then heal and then get healthy after that. So it's like you're going backwards to then go forwards, if that makes sense. You're taking 3 steps back in order to take 2 steps forward. It's like, oh, I'm going to eat McDonald's now and then start my diet tomorrow. You're actually going backwards before you can go forwards. I know that was a stabbing analogy, it was pretty bad, but you're going to want to start very specialized. So what this looks like is, let's say that this is the fitness niche, this big circle out here. The blue circle is, let's say, hypothetically, young, middle-aged, or young to middle-aged parents. I don't know. Okay. Let's say the red circle is fathers. And then let's say this is divorced fathers. I'm just making this up. Okay. But you're going to want to take a market. You're going to want to take a market within a market, then a market within a market. And the more narrow you can go, the more niche you will be. Okay. What are the benefits to actually being niched? Okay. So what I mean by this is, what are the benefits to being niche? So all in all, what happens is if you're unniched, okay, what happens is you'll get people who are random people. Okay. You'll get a male bodybuilder who wants to put on muscle. You'll get a mom who wants to relieve hip pain. You'll get a dad who wants to get rid of the beer belly. Okay. What this means is that, number one, you're going to actually have a harder time getting clients. It's going to be harder. When you are calling out a specific person, that specific person will respond. It's just from a marketing point of view, when you actually go and actually try to get clients within that, it's a lot more influential when you're like, I only serve your kind of archetype, receive this transformation that only you want, rather than I just help anyone with fitness just in general. Okay. And then because of this, because you're a non-specialist, think about doctors, for example. Cardiologists make more than general physicians. Why is that? Because they're more specialized. They've gone to school longer for that specialty, and therefore they're going to be rewarded by the system for having that level of specialty. Okay? You're then going to have to charge less. Non-specialists have to charge less for the same or equivalent service. You're going to probably, let's say you're going for heart surgery from a general physician. You're going to feel uncomfortable, and you're probably not going to pay them not that much money. I'm just using this hypothetically, if they were given a surgery like that, compared to a cardiologist who's a top-end surgeon, okay? Number 3, you're going to be viewed as a commodity. Because you help everyone, the market will view you as disposable and replaceable, okay? It's like being a guy who dates every single girl he comes across. It's kind of weird. Number 4, your clients won't get good results. Your clients will have a low emotional investment due to the lack of price and specialty, and therefore not take the process 100% serious. Think about like an online program, for example, like Beachbody On Demand, okay? The success rate on that program is literally less than 1%. I found the exact number about 6 months ago. It's like 0.7%. It's crazy low. Beachbody On Demand is cheap and targets everyone. They're playing the volume game. They just want to push as many people onto the site and get as many conversions as they can. They don't really care about client results. Number 5, you'll have to create new systems and processes for each new client and goal. So this is on the back end. Let's say you then sign clients, okay? What happens from here is you have to make a new program for each different sort of client archetype. You have a client who wants to gain muscle. You have a client who wants to lose weight. You have a client who wants to get ready for a bodybuilding show. You have a client who wants to, do body recomposition. You have to make new processes for each of these different clients. That takes a lot of time compared to if you're doing for one client who wants to achieve one sort of client transformation. That's one thing that can be ran 1,000 times. So you have to think as well on the back end. Okay, and then number 6, you're not going to be able to validate your systems. So if you're doing all of these processes for each of these different clients, how are you going to validate if your programs are actually good? You're not. If you're doing one thing 1,000 times, you're going to be able to see that one system improve every time. Okay, after 10 times, I'm going to change this portion. after 50 times, okay, this person said this as well as these other 10 people, I'm going to change this. And you can only do that by running one scientific experiment several times rather than 1,000 once. Okay? So you want that validation. And then after this, if you're not able to, validate your systems, you're going to obviously lose confidence in yourself, lose confidence in your business, maybe drop price again, get shit clients again, and then just run the system again until you just lose confidence and then not make a lot of money, and then you're pretty much just down and you feel bad. Okay? So this is what happens to online trainers when they're helping everyone. They become a commodity. The only way to escape this rat race is to be precise on the who. So you want to choose a specific problem, specific person, make it extremely narrow. People are going to view you as an expert because you're precise. Okay? You're going to be able to charge more. You're going to have better client results. You're going to be able to figure out a system one time that you can run one time, 10,000 times, okay, and get better. It's like a spine surgeon who says, I've done this spine surgery 10,000 times. It's going to be like, okay, this guy knows a thing or two about how to do a spinal fluid reconstruction. Just making this up. Okay? And then you're going to be able to leverage your more money as well as the client results you're getting to scale your company and make everything better as a whole. Okay? So it's kind of inverse from what a lot of people think you have to do from the jump. Okay? So this is why you need to be niched from the beginning. So now I'm going to tell you how to actually identify winning markets and what I usually do. Okay? So the first thing you want to know is what market you're actually in and kind of the supply and demand of this market. Okay, so everything in business is obviously based off of supply and based off of demand. If there is, for example, a balance, meaning the supply is equal to the demand, that's a pretty balanced market. Okay, so for example, this is like the car market. A lot of people want cars, but there's a lot of providers of those car brands. There's, several car brands that are producing multiple thousands of cars per year. And there's a lot of people who want cars. It's pretty balanced. Okay? And then, for example, if the demand, so if there's an imbalance, let's say that there is more demand, okay, and less supply, that means that that means that the market wants for there to be more supply to just take care of that demand. This pretty much means that if you supply that, you instantly get clients and you instantly have that level of millionaire status. Okay, so this was like, for example, in 2016, not a lot of people were selling, for example, coaching for drop shipping. Okay, this is like based off of trends. This is a lot of the time new things, because when there's something new, like for example, when the vegan diet came out, there's a lot of coaches who were helping people with the vegan diet and selling vegan programs. Veganism was kind of new at that time. This was in, I believe, early like 2010s-ish. This was very new. Therefore, there wasn't that much supply. So if you created that supply, it was taking care of the demand that was newly created. Okay? And then on the other hand, if there's more supply and then there's less demand, this is also an imbalance. Okay? And this is pretty much a hyper-competitive market. This is where you want to kind of steer clear from. This is things like, a lot of these like drop shipping nowadays, very competitive. Okay. For example, real estate agents. I know so many people who want to become real estate agents. Can you become rich becoming a real estate agent? Yes. But think about how many people are selling their homes every year or wanting to buy new homes. And think about how many real estate agents there are within your local market. For example, I'm from Toronto. There's so many real estate agents in Toronto, and there's only so many people selling their houses. And the amount of real estate agents there are compared to the actual demand is very imbalanced. Okay, so this is the first thing you kind of want to map out within your market. What is kind of the overall demand? What is the overall supply? And this is not something that you're just going to be able to see off the jump. This is something that you're going to have to figure out by testing and trying to get clients. Because you're not just going to look something up on Google and say, oh my God, yeah, this is just like there's just crazy demand for this, but no one's supplying. If there's already that information out there, then that means other people have already, those other people are already trying to potentially go after that market. So it's going to be based off of non-shiny things and non-talked about things. So this is the first step. The second step within identifying a market is you want to ask yourself, who can afford your actual service? Okay? So you want people who can obviously afford your service. This is just, basic. Okay? So for example, if you're targeting, one market that, let's say, doesn't have money, let's say they still want your service, let's say they still have a lot of demand, okay? The demand is still higher than the supply, but let's say 85% cannot afford to pay your price, okay? That market will still get beaten by a market that has money, okay? That still let's say doesn't want your service that bad, that has less demand, but at least they have money, so then less people will still pay more and you'll still see a higher sum from that actual market, okay? So a lot of my clients, especially within fitness, will target kind of an upper echelon sort of, rich to middle class sort of group of people. So then it's a lot easier to sell them higher ticket things. Okay. So it doesn't matter how much demand there is if the market simply cannot afford your service. This is just pretty basic. So for example, I launched an offer to people starting out that was $5,000. Okay. People who were making no money. And I had so many price objections. Okay. It's 5K. I was helping people, anyone who wanted to start out. And then I launched another offer to people already making over 10K a month. Okay. That was a higher price. It was roughly 7.5K. This was like a year and a half ago. And I had very little price objections. Everyone could afford it because I knew that they were already making, let's say, over 10K a month. If they gave me an objection, I knew as a fact that objection wasn't based off of price. Okay. Cool. So this is the second step that you want to go through. The third step within identifying a market is you want to ask yourself, can you actually find these people? Okay. So 80% of marketing is simply locating the client that you want to target. This is 80% of marketing. This is very important. If you identify a market that has demand, they have money, but you're not actually able to get in front your message in front of these people, then it's going to be very difficult. So if there's a bottleneck in this location process, then even with the best marketing processes, best ads, best content, best videography, you will still lose in the long run. When I first started in the fitness space, I wanted to help gyms and supplement companies. Okay, I realized that supplement companies were very difficult to find. They were very hard to find, especially when I was starting out, okay, with little social capital or little proof of concept. And I wasn't able to contact these people. And when I was kind of deciding, okay, should I do gyms? Should I do supplement companies? I was like, okay, I'm just going to go with gyms simply due to the fact that if I go on Google Maps and look up gyms in New York City, a list of 200 came up that I could contact, put in an email blast, and send emails to or cold call. Okay. And that made it very easy to get started for me. Okay. So this is the third step. The fourth step is pretty much something, I guess, maybe a little bit unconventional, but there's a lot of trial and error that still comes in. Okay. So when I was first starting in the coaching space, I was a pure speculator. I did all the research and actually overanalyzed my market a lot. There comes to a point where you simply need to begin client acquisition processes and move forward. Because with this is a process that can be done pretty quickly. Okay. This is not a very hard process to go through. Can your market afford it? Can you find these people? That maybe takes 10 minutes. Okay. Then after that, you should just go and test your market. A lot of people will spend a lot of time researching, contemplating, this market, etc., and then take action later. Okay. While you actually need to do your research and contemplation quickly, get it done with, find a market that is 80%, and then go validate that market quickly with a lot of action. Test it. Go have conversations with people. Go run ads, make content, see if people resonate with your message. And if people don't, then you can probably go back and switch compared to if you spend too much time researching and contemplating. Okay? So this is what I followed and this is what you're going to have to follow if you're wanting to start a Skool community, because the worst thing you could do is go make a Skool community that's so unniched and so untargeted. Okay? So this is the first step in the niche selection process. So NTP and then access channel. Okay, NTPA. Okay, this is the first step that you're going to have to follow. The next step that we're going to talk about is the actual transformation that you're offering these people that we've kind of discovered here. Okay, so what we've done is we've figured a market out. Now we're going to find the actual transformation, the offer that we're going to offer to these people. So when it comes to having a specific transformation and price go kind of hand in hand. So for example, if somebody is, let's say, wanting to make $100,000 in 90 days, okay? Let's say you'll charge 10K for that. You'll be able to charge 10K for that. But let's say same time frame, 90 days, someone wants to make $1 million, you'll probably charge a lot more than $10,000 for that. So the size of the transformation, if you're bringing someone from point A to point B and that transformation is big, you are going to have to charge a lot more compared to if that transformation is small. So when we're actually crafting a high ticket offer, an offer that's priced high, we want to go for the biggest transformation that we could possibly go for, so then we can justify a larger amount of money that we're charging these people. Okay? So pretty much when it comes to transformation, this is a good analogy that I try to go through with my clients. So consider a man stranded on a deserted island. Okay? Island 1 is small, there's no food, clean drinking water, and no shelter. Imagine that there is a second island 5 miles away from Island 1. On Island 2, there is a man's family. Okay, there's a house there, there's food, there's clean drinking water. His parents are there, his friends are waiting to welcome him back. The man on Island 1 wants to boat to Island 2. The desire is clear, and there's a strong motivation to make this transformation. Let's pretend that a salesperson comes to Island 1 and tells the stranded man on a boat, a boat to Island 2 is available to him to get on. Think about this for a minute. Does the stranded man care about the specific type of wood from which the boat was made, or how many seats the boat has, or how much leather was used in the seating area? Okay? No. The man on Island 1 only cares that the boat will successfully get him to Island 2. The man will be willing to pay any amount to solve his problem and achieve the transformation because his pain is so high. Okay? So the example above illustrates the transformation. The stranded man doesn't care if it's a boat that delivers the transformation. It could be a rocket ship. It could be a wormhole. It could be a magic pill where he wakes up in Island 2. He doesn't care. In other words, the vehicle and mechanism used to achieve the transformation doesn't matter to the stranded man. He's looking for the path of least resistance, the cheapest, fastest, easiest vehicle to achieve the transformation. When you're building your solution, you're looking for the best or only way to help your customer travel from Island 1 to Island 2. The state 1 to state 2 change is called the transformation. This can be thought of as the promise or claim. So all you need to pretty much deliver this transformation is you need to map out what are the biggest transformations that you can kind of go for that people want. So you have to map out state 1. So going with, for example, this market analogy that we've kind of went through before of, let's say, middle-aged dads who are divorced, okay? Their state 1 is fat and depressed because they just got divorced. And their state 2, the best possible state 2 would be not depressed, so the antithesis of their current state because they're in a lot of pain and in great shape. Let's just say gain muscle and lose 30 pounds of fat. Okay? In the time frame of, let's say, 90 days. So this is a clear picture. And what this is it's very dependent on the state number 1. So let's say you're having conversations with people and you're realizing that the market that you've selected through this exercise that we went through, okay, that most of the people you've been talking to are in X shape. Let's say X shape is like they hate their life, they're fat, they're depressed, they want to lose weight, or let's say they're really skinny and they want to gain weight. I'm just using this as an example. What you're going to do is now take the antithesis of their current situation, which is probably their desired state. And then within that, you have your clear transformation that what you're going to sell for these people. And then you're going to want to put that in a specific time frame that is realistic. So for example, what are some transformation examples? So gym owners from 5K a month in profit to 50K a month in 4 months. That's an offer that I used to run. fat dads to lose 30 pounds of belly fat in 4 months. Okay. So the transformation is pretty straightforward. And especially within fitness, this is, and just in business in general, this is based off of a lot of the conversations that you're going to have with prospects. You're not just going to figure this out yourself. You have to go out and talk to people. You have to go out and see what these people are saying, get this in a spreadsheet and track this. This is one of the biggest things that we do within our companies is we get people to do something called pre-seed calls, get them to go through this script right here, okay? Track everything, okay, in this spreadsheet right here. Okay, track everything from all of these conversations. What is their current situation? What is their desired situation? What are the roadblocks? What are the concerns? Okay, what are the price that these people are willing to pay? Okay, we're going through this and we're deriving a clear transformation that has demand. Okay, and then from this, we can then derive a price very easily. Okay, the thing with price is normally in business, you're going to want to charge 10% of what the value you're offering. So let's say if you help someone, this is normally in business to business. If you're helping someone make 100K, you're going to want to charge 10K, usually 10K. But in fitness, it's very subjective because if you're helping someone lose 30 pounds, there's no like number figure that derives 10% from that. Okay. So it can be a little bit tricky, but what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to charge higher than what you think. Okay. And you don't want to, like I said before, charge somewhere in the middle of what most people are charging. Okay. You want to charge much above. Usually what I charge with my clients, if it's, let's say, not for myself, but for my clients, if it's somewhere in the range of, let's say, 90 days to 4 to 5 months, I will get them to charge minimum 5K, minimum. Okay. Some clients of mine charge 15K. Some clients charge 10K. But you want to charge at least minimum $5,000 for this transformation because, again, what we went through, this is a niche market, so you're a specialist. And number two, this should be the most valued transformation that this niche could want. You don't want to go for number two. You don't want to go for the third most important. You want to go for the number one most important transformation that this niche could possibly want. What's the point of going for two? What's the point of going for the third best or the fourth best? Okay, you want to go for the first, number one, most important that these people value the most. Okay, so that's just pretty much an overall justification of what you should do in terms of transformation and price. You want to also understand that price is a function of the value you create. Okay, so if this dream outcome is, let's say, a great dream outcome, this is a great transformation. Okay, you have a great perceived likelihood of achievement. This is just Hormozzi's value equation. The time delay is quick. There's very little effort and sacrifice. That equates to the most amount of value that you've created. Okay. So if it's a really big dream outcome, okay, has a high perceived likelihood of achievement, okay, therefore you've shown case studies, etc. Okay, little time delay. The program length is short to achieve the transformation, and there's little effort and sacrifice. That is the most amount of value. This is actually why a lot of pharmaceutical brands, like for example Ozempic, when they sell Ozempic is selling semaglutide, they take out effort and sacrifice from the equation and create more value than a lot of fitness coaches. Okay. So what you can do as a fitness coach to stay the most competitive is control what you can control, which is dream outcome, make that transformation the best you could possibly make it, make your perceived likelihood of achievement the highest, AKA selling them, like understanding sales, understanding client results and marketing client results. Okay. And then making that time delay something that is something that's not unbearably long, like lose 30 pounds in 2 years. People are not really going to care. Okay. If you can control these, you will be able to compete. Okay. So these are just pretty much the basic things that you're going to have to follow when you're going through and creating your offer for Skool is this transformation and obviously for this niche and this time frame. So get specific with this, map out who you're helping, map out the actual transformation of what you're going to help them achieve, and then map out a price for actually what you're going to help them go for. If this is a small transformation, then you're going to charge less. If this is a big transformation, like there's a lot of pain, which you're going to figure out when you're doing these conversations, then you're going to charge more for it. Like I said before, when you're creating your transformation, you want your transformation to also be something specific. You don't want your transformation to be vague. You want it to be specific on exactly what you're helping them do. Okay. For example, comparing the Toyota Camry to the Porsche GT3, people are buying the Porsche GT3 because it is the best option price aside. Okay. People are buying the Toyota Camry because it's the cheapest option. So you want to be specific in terms of that transformation. So then you're helping that specific person rather than everyone, because all of this stuff is layered on top of other things, other factors that you have to take into account. Okay. And also, when you are very specific and you are not placing yourself as a commodity because you're specific with your transformation and your market, people are also, it's the same flywheel. Okay. You're charging high ticket for that. People are going to view you and be more invested. You're going to have more results. You're going to have more money to now invest back into your business. And you have now achieved a form of leverage compared to if you're charging low prices. You're going to attract people who are broke, who can only afford those low prices. Okay. It's going to be less revenue to invest back into your business. You're going to have bad client results. That's just going to flywheel into you charging low prices, lowering your prices even more, etc. Okay. So that's when it comes to pricing. You want to be as specific as possible. Okay. You want to be that Porsche GT3 with that one-of-one market, with that specific transformation, with that high ticket price. Okay. So now when it actually comes to getting clients, I'm going to talk a little bit about how to actually get clients using Skool now that you have these factors kind of set up. So now I'm just going to pretty much tell you what I kind of did as a fitness coach and what I do with all of my clients right now. So this is like the bread and butter. Now that you've done the boring stuff, how are you going to get clients now? So as a coach, okay, if you're a fitness coach, wellness coach, health coach, etc., mindset coach, you're probably doing something like this. Okay. You are posting organically, you're sending messages, short form, long form organically. You're sending messages cold or warm. You're doing paid traffic. Maybe you're, doing some other forms of marketing as well. But after testing several acquisition channels, this is what I've found to be the best. So we have to, when especially we're coming into acquisition, we want to focus on the most leveraged acquisition channel. So our committee said, give me a lever long enough and I can lift the world. So we want to, for example, looking at physics, with a simple shift in the location of the lever, we can 100x our outputs. The same forces that apply to the physical world like a lever are the same forces that can be related to our business. Everything is an input to output mechanism. So for example, if you're doing a lot of work to get clients within your acquisition machine, if it's content, if it's cold DMs, if it takes a lot of input to get pretty menial output, then that's not leveraged. If these input to output ratios are 1-to-1, then it is pretty bad. Okay, you're not leveraged. It's going to be indicative. Your success is going to be indicative on the amount of inputs you do, which in the long run, we don't want our success to be solely based off of, especially with getting clients, to be solely based off of our inputs. We want to make a simple shift in the location of our lever to generate more output from our input. This is just basic physics. So how do we go from a weak ratio, okay, where, for example, a lot of coaches are doing this, pushing really hard, grinding 12-hour days, 16-hour days to get menial output. Like I knew this one coach. Her name was Veronica, okay? She was actually a client of mine, and she was working like 16 hours a day. Really hard worker, probably one of the hardest workers I've met. But she was stuck at $6K a month. And then there's people who are doing 2 hours a day of work, 3 hours a day of work, but are making $100, $200, $1 million a month. How is that possible? The only difference is the actions that these people are doing and the amount of leverage that these people potentially have. These people are operating on a strong ratio of inputs to outputs. Okay? So with only a limited time in the day, you need to focus on the highest leverage forms of acquisition. At the end of the day, you do not want to be working 12 to 16 hours a day. Like I've personally been there. It's not fun. It's, maybe short term, it's fun and fulfilling. Okay. When your back's against the wall, you got to grind it out. But long term, you want presence. You want to have a social life. You want to talk to females. You want to go out with your friends. Okay. And even Naval Ravikant said this, you can't get rich working hard, period. Okay. If you don't know who this is, you should know who this is. Okay. So the first mistake when it comes to acquisition channels is it's a groupthink mistake. and I talked about this before in this presentation, but I'm going to double down on this. If you want to start a taxi company, okay, for example, you want to start a taxi company, you go out and look at what everyone else is doing. You observe that everyone has yellow taxis, so you simply just make your taxis more yellow. When it comes to acquisition, everyone is in the same headspace, okay? They're trying to grow a massive audience, thinking that if they grow this massive audience, that will directly result in making you more money, okay? Like I said with Veronica, that's what she was trying to do, okay? She was actually really sad. When I first met her, she was very sad. She was crying on the phone with me. I was like, what's wrong? What's going on? She's like, I'm grinding my ass off. I'm trying to build my audience, okay? I'm like, what are you spending your time on? This same girl, she was spending 24 hours a week just posting, okay? She had amassed an audience of 25K on Instagram and was stuck at 6K a month for the past 2 years. She believed that her audience would directly correlate to her income, and she was wrong. So this whole idea that you have to grow your audience organically is false to an extent. Because if you, for example, if you grow to 8.2 million followers like Simian Panda, there's going to be a percentage of those people who are going to buy no matter what. It's like throwing so much shit at the wall that eventually some of that shit will stick. This is the shotgun approach. You want to be the sniper, okay? So how do you become a sniper? So what if I told you you can have a guaranteed method of reaching an exact amount of eyeballs, have these eyeballs be the most likely to purchase your solution, your mechanism, and the desire, the transformation that you're selling, okay? So welcome to my favorite acquisition channel, which is a combination of paid ads with Skool, okay? So over the past 6 months, I've been experimenting with this, where pretty much for every dollar that I've put in, so imagine you're putting $1 into a vending machine and you're getting $10 out of that vending machine. Just take that 10, put it back in, get 100, put that 100 back in, get 1,000, put that 1,000 back in, get 10,000. And it's just this repetitive process where the return stays fixed, okay? So why is this the best acquisition channel in my opinion? So when it comes to ads, I want you to think about this for a second. Let's say you're sending cold DMs, okay? You have to go and find these people. You have to go and find the people that you're reaching out to. You got to go make your list, and then you got to go and make the message that you're sending to these people, okay? With Meta, when you ask yourself, okay, I'm going to go run Facebook ads or Instagram ads, which is Meta ads. When you look at Meta, Meta has a $1.26 trillion market cap. You're going to ask yourself, okay, what is $1.26 trillion? What is this? Market cap is how much a company's worth. But what is this number? Okay, what does Meta sell? When you go and create an Instagram account or a Facebook account, they have a clear and specific objective. They're collecting your data, okay? You scroll on Instagram, what do? They collect your data about what you like, how you like it, what you don't like, when you like it, whatever, okay? Have you ever gone on someone else's Instagram and been like, how do you like this Instagram? Like, this is a boring Instagram. You go on your mom's Instagram, oh, this is a shit Instagram. Mine is way better, okay? Imagine going to a restaurant and then rather than them showing you the menu and you can choose what you want to be served, they'll simply bring you exactly what you're feeling like in that exact moment, okay? So what Meta's doing is this market cap is based off of the valuation of all of the data they own. $1.26 trillion worth of data. And specifically, 3.98, let's just say 4 billion people who are on this platform, Meta has collected their data. So they have this data of 4 billion people, and they're always doing updates to make the algorithm more accurate, overall better at figuring out what interests you and what you're most likely to click on. Now imagine going to the same restaurant listed above, but now instead of getting the perfect meal, they're giving you this meal for several hours of the day, multiple times. Okay, 6 hours. Average screen time is 6 hours and 40 minutes in the States. 6 hours and 40 minutes. Okay? So imagine, like, this is a side note, but most cafes will actually try to make this the cafe as welcoming as possible and have it be a place to stay for multiple hours. This way there's a higher chance of people purchasing things. This is the same strategy that Meta takes, okay, to keep you on and keep you hooked with dopamine, etc., so that when they serve you ads, there's a higher possibility that you will convert on those ads. Okay? So Facebook is then taking all of this data, packing it up, then selling it to advertisers. These advertisers are then taking this data and selling things to them. Okay? So instead of going and sending cold DMs, finding the data that you need to then pitch them, you can just go to Meta, which have been looking for data, collecting data, refining this data for over 20, I think they've been early 2000s, something like that, okay, for 20 plus years, this $1.26 trillion worth of data, and then just focus on the message and let them figure out who to serve the ad to. And especially now with the AI behind Meta, it has become even more accurate, okay? So you have two choices. You become a consumer of something that's built to keep you on the platform the longest and sell you, or use the massive pool of data to sell your service. And you may say, oh, organically, I can just use Instagram organic. It's the same engine. Okay, that's actually wrong, because Meta wants you to spend money with them and they want you to be happy. They want you to be returning customers. They want you to spend as much money with them as possible so then they can have the highest amount of profit margins and revenue. Okay, so comparing this, for example, organically, let's say 2 of your videos go viral and you get 100K views on each. Number one, these are not targeted eyeballs that could possibly show interest in your service. These are just random people that have potentially looked at your video. The odds are low of these people converting, and this takes lots of work and testing to blow up and hit 100K views. With paid ads, okay, 100K views with $20 to $40 cost per miles, that will cost you roughly $200 to $400 to get that same amount of views. But the thing is, these are consistently coming in. So if you spend $200 to $400, you're consistently going to get these people who are going to come in. Like, there's no like, oh, maybe I may blow up or maybe I won't. You're going to get it if you spend the money. The odds are guaranteed, okay? The audience is also guaranteed, because this audience is the audience that you select for Meta to get the views for, okay? So this audience is guaranteed and bought and selected by Meta's billion-dollar data mining machine, which has access to 4 billion people, and they know exactly who to select better than you know to select. So if you're giving them a message, actually the AI, let's say you're making a video ad, and the video ad is, hey, if you're a dad that wants to lose 30 pounds, the AI will listen to that, okay? They'll see, okay, dad's 30 pounds. And they will go to their engine and be like, okay, I have 4 billion people's data. Who's most likely to buy? Then they will go with the money you've given them and start serving that message to those people who are most likely to buy, okay? And the rate of improvement over Meta's ad machine is also exponential as well, because the more people that join, the screen times are only going up, people are becoming more addicted. Now is the time to capitalize on the work that Meta has been doing to scale your business. So when it comes to ads versus, let's say, oh, I'm going to post organically, or oh, I'm going to send DMs, okay? I'm still not like, I still think that building a brand organically is important. But when it comes to scaling and really having a leveraged force behind you, paid ads are undoubtedly one of the best ways to do so. Okay? So how do we integrate Skool with this? Because I've been talking about, this video is on Skool. So how do we implement Skool with this? So this is what I've been doing recently, is integrating Skool as the front end portion of the actual ad. Okay? So for example, the old way is, ad, you have your DM, your organic content, you're pushing people to a VSL or a free document, a free guide, a lead magnet of some sort, then they book a call, and then you close them, okay? The new way is you're putting a lot of time and money into ads, making your ads really good, refining your ads constantly, making sure that the floodgates are open from the jump. You're pushing people to a free Skool community, okay, where you're giving them free things, you're educating them, okay? This is a lot better than just a VSL for various reasons, because user interface is better. There's more educative material in there. There's a community in there where they can talk to other people. They can interact. They can come to calls that you've done. And then from there, they're going to book a call, and it's going to be a lot easier to close. Okay? It's easier to appointment set because these people have gotten more off the jump. And it's going to be easier to close because these people have gotten so much as well, where it's like they're not going to give you a hard time because they know what you do, they know how you do it, and they're not going to give you dumb objections. And if you've done everything else, like I said, in terms of selecting a market, a transformation, pricing correctly, then you're going to achieve really good growth. And especially if your Skool community is very precise. Instead of just like I see so many Skool communities, oh my God, I get fit boot camp. What the hell does that mean? Get fit boot camp. Really? Get fit boot camp? Okay? I like my clients make Skool communities like moms with menopause, moms with menopause Skool community. That's precise. Okay? So why does this work? So number one, reciprocity bias. Okay, it's the impulse to reciprocate actions others have done towards us. When we're giving away all of this value, it's going to be a lot easier to close. Okay, so this mainly works. The main driving factor is reciprocity behind this. But in our actual Skool community, we're actually obviously going to want to give a lot of free value and a lot of free assets, sales assets that are not just, hey, here's education, but here's education that I've packaged as kind of being something that's subconsciously selling these people and pushing them towards a call, okay, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later. So warning, this process has several other moving parts. Obviously, like I said, you need your niche, you need your transformation, you need your price, you need these factors in place. So then once you do this, you will achieve some success. All right, so now the next steps are pretty much just to formulate what you're actually going to put in your Skool community. Okay, so I've made other videos regarding how to make ads. Go watch those after you finish watching this, so then you know how to kind of put everything together with this funnel. Okay, so when it comes to actually what's to put specifically in your Skool, we're going to jump into this right now. Okay, so how to organize your lead magnet, because all in all, this is pretty much a high-level lead magnet. Okay, so there's this Alex Hormozy quote regarding ads. He states that if your ads aren't getting much success, then it is because of your offer. Okay, I'm paraphrasing here, but it pretty much makes sense with this, because when we're running ads, what we're offering is not our full service. We're not offering, hey, do you want to get the full transformation? We're offering the free Skool community. Cool. So pretty much, if you write a cool, unique insight, but without a logical no-brainer offer, then people will be confused on how to take the next step with you. It should be the easiest next step possible. People already have a negative connotation towards ads in general. They think ads are weird, things, they normally scroll past. So you don't want to associate that with fear and hesitation. And right now, the easiest next step from ads, you want to think about it kind of like a floodgate of water. And there's already a pre-built dam, and you want to kind of take out from that dam as much, debris, so then you can allow as much people to go from step one, from the ads, to step two, which is the free Skool community. So right now, the best lead magnet on the market is something that's free and exceeds the expected value, which is Skool. Okay, so I've written several videos on YouTube regarding lead magnets, how to position them, but here's exactly pretty much what you're going to need to know summed up. Okay, number one is most people don't actually take action on the lead magnets. Most people will just look at the lead magnet, see if there's a high perceived value. Based on the perceived value of the free thing, they will then get a surge of dopamine, which then they will associate with you. Okay, so what usually happens when someone goes through and clicks the link to the Skool, they'll join the Skool, they'll maybe watch one video halfway, they'll look at how things are structured, and then from there, they will make a decision to move forward or kind of forget about it. Most people are in like 10 schools, and they have so many different schools that they're in that you're just another person that, is running a community. Number two, 90% of others will spend a massive amount of time creating a backend with lead magnets with massive amounts of preliminary work. You don't need to do that. Okay. Number three, marketing assets will always exceed the efficiency of lead magnets, something that is framed as free and will help them reach transformation, but in reality is meant to sell them on the next step in the journey. So remember, we're running ads to free Skool. Okay. We're then trying to sell them on booking a call. Okay. We're giving them some value to allow them to see that there's perceived value. And then we're going to close the deal. So right now, it's very straightforward to just get people in your Skool, but the bottleneck for most people is getting people from your free Skool to then sell them. Okay? I've run VSL funnels before, and compared to Skool will 90% of the time crush, 90% exceeds the results of the VSL funnel. So how do you actually position your Skool correctly? So these are pretty much basic steps. So number one, create a free Skool community, make it public. Okay, name it something related to your transformation that you're providing. Okay, make it specific and niched. Number 3, make a pinned post that gives people the opportunity to book a call and include it in the about section. So this is going to allow people to easily take the next step once they're in. Number 4, make it mandatory that people fill out a survey when joining your community. This gives them a higher emotional investment. Okay, this is pretty much just qualifying people. If people aren't willing to put in a little bit of work to give some detail about, what their goals are, their email, their phone number, what problems they're dealing with, then they're not going to book a call in the first place. So what's the point of even getting these people in? So you want to include a couple questions, which is, what health goals are you working towards? What are your goals? What are your desires? What are the challenges you're working with? Okay, and then you can do a little CTA where I'm taking on 8 new clients in the next 2 weeks who want X thing. Are you interested in hearing more? Yes or no? So you want to make sure that you have this preliminary survey. Okay. Number 5, spend time and make the profiles of the community look good. I cannot instruct you on how you want to design this, but make it look good. I'm going to show you some examples a little bit later. Okay. And then number 6, fill the classroom with free value. This isn't stuff that you're just going to have to create from scratch. This is probably things that maybe you already have, past YouTube videos, documents that you can just throw in there so that it has a high perceived likelihood of achievement. Remember, no one is going to go through the entirety of your school. That's just not how it's going to work. People aren't going to do that. People will maybe go through 5 to 10% of it and then make a decision if they want to take the next step because they're like, okay, people are greedy by nature. I've gotten this, I want this. So you have to think about this as well. Put free value in there so that it looks like it's jammed, but you can actually put your stuff in there, and then from there, people will take the next step, okay? So most people at this point will try to hold back or gatekeep information. You need to spend a day or two maybe compiling things, maybe filming some new stuff, put it in the free course, utilize Loom to record. You can do stuff like this where it's a simple Loom video with a Google document. You can do a Miro board, you can do Google Doc, a slideshow, create videos, okay? Or if you have access to record in a fitness studio, then also that's potentially good so it can be instructional for some modules of your course, okay? Think about the general steps and explain why. This is probably one of the most important points. Explain why they're taking these steps. Focus most of the videos on the actual why behind the steps. The why will be more important than the actual how. So this is probably one of the most important things when it comes to you creating your specific modules is, yes, you want to pack it with as much things as possible so the perceived value is the highest. But the actual videos, instead of focusing on, hey, here's how to track calories, explain, here's why you should eat this way. Here's why you should do this. Okay, you're not showing them how to do it, you're telling them why. The why is more impactful than the actual how, and it becomes more influential because whys change beliefs. And when you change someone's beliefs, they associate that new identity that they've gained from that new belief system with you. And that's value that they've associated with you. When you're saying how to do something, how to lose weight, track calories, you're not changing someone's beliefs. You're not doing a 180 in their brain where they're finished watching the video and they're like, oh my God, this is crazy. So try to focus on the why. It is way more influential. Okay? So after that, the last step is, once you've created the classroom modules, is to create the one-of-one VSL. So a VSL is a video sales letter. This VSL will be pretty much we direct people's attention to once they've initially joined the community. This VSL is something that sells people on booking a call. Remember, the whole point of the Skool community is to get people to book a call. That's it. If it doesn't do that, then this is not effective. We want people to book a call. Okay? So that's pretty much that when it comes to formulating your Skool community. Okay? So when it comes to actually how to create your VSL, this is what it's going to kind of look like. So here's one of my clients who just recently launched, I think a couple days ago or something. The initial part of your Skool should contain your VSL right here. This VSL is meant to sell people on the next step, like I said. Okay? What I have is I have a script right here on how to actually write these VSLs. Okay? This is pretty much just not really just like, hey, here, join my community. This is showing status. This is showing, your personal story. This is showing client results. This is showing that you are the credible next step for that person to then book a call with to inquire about the transformation that we've derived for this niche. Okay, so here's an example of one of my clients' VSLs. You want to put your VSL right here, okay, as well as client results. Okay, so client results, maybe a personal transformation, things to show that you have a high perceived likelihood of achievement. This is, when you're making your Skool, this is probably the most important thing that you're going to do, because this VSL is the first thing that people are going to see when they come from your ads. And this is the first thing that they're going to watch. They're going to click, they're going to watch this video. And this video is going to be what makes it's going to allow them to see the community in a totally different way and potentially get them to make the next step in terms of booking a call or not booking a call. Okay, let me come to potentially some other clients. So for example, another VSL, more case studies. Okay, what is this doing? This is just selling people on taking the next step. Okay, let me pull up another one right here. Okay, this is the same client. Here's another great example, okay? So these VSLs, video sales letters, are showing people with status how to achieve the transformation through your call and booking the next step, okay? So I've had a couple other videos where I've talked about how to actually write these VSLs, how to do them effectively, because this is probably going to be the most important video that you're going to make. You're going to get a lot of views on these videos, because if you're spending hundreds of dollars a day on ads or even less, there's going to be thousands of people who are going to view this video. And if you can make this video the best you can make it, that's where you will achieve as much success as possible. So all in all, this is the overall structure of the VSL. I have this, I believe it's in my free Skool community. If you want access to that, this document is in my free Skool. So you can go and get that on how to actually write these VSLs. Okay, it's pretty straightforward. I will also put this link down in the description if you've made it this far, so you can actually see how to write these. But overall, you want this VSL to be something that you spend a lot of time on. You can film these VSLs using Miro board or Google Doc. I film mine using a Google Doc. Okay, and I've created several. And this is actually a VSL that I used on my YouTube. Okay, and this VSL, this one video made me over, I believe it made me over 50 grand. This one video, this one VSL. I've created several, but this is just one of them that I've created. And I followed this exact same process, okay, where you're pretty much going through, there's just pretty logical steps on how to write this, and you're just presenting it. I use a Google Doc to present it, okay? I talk about case studies, I talk about a bunch of things, insights, etc., my personal story. It's all kind of in there. But this VSL I promoted, and this one VSL did a lot of numbers for me. Okay, so it's not just putting videos in your Skool and just saying, hey, here's a video, go watch the video. That's just a random video. This is a specifically positioned video to get people to see that you're the most credible. You're identifying with their problems. You're centering these problems around a core concept. You're showing that you have experience with this. What's your background story? You're walking them through the activities to gain the transformation. You're telling them, okay, this is the old way. This is the new way. This is probably one of the most influential ways to sell people. You show someone an old way, and then you show someone the new way, and that new way is through you. Okay? You're going to list case studies. You're going to list the benefits. So your client case studies, the benefits of doing something like this, introduce the mechanism, explain the features, and then make your offer to book the call for the next step. Okay, this is a long VSL. This is a 41-minute VSL. Some VSLs are shorter. Some are around 10 minutes. You're going to want this one to be roughly in between 7 to 15 minutes. Okay, so that's overall the basis of the Skool funnel. Okay, when it comes to your actual classroom, what to put in there, there's a lot of things that you can put in there, but the overall framework is you just want to map out specifically what are the steps that these people are going to have to take. Kind of like this, for example. Let me just zoom in on this. Okay, so these people, these clients, they have a current state. They're fat, depressed, like I said before, their desired state. What are the activities that they're going to have to do? Okay, and then you're going to center this around the why. So new activity, how it's easier, better, faster, cheaper, and just center this around your transformation and your overall niche. Okay, so this is the overall thesis on how to use the Skool funnel, the classroom, what to put in the classroom. There's a lot of things that you can put in the classroom, but in my opinion, classrooms with less overall modules perform better. Okay, you want there to be a high perceived value, but you also want there to be a balance between you not just throwing junk in there. Okay, so a lot of some big questions that I've gotten, just to kind of conclude the video, is when it comes to Skool, is there kind of like a limit of how much free value you should put in because it's a free thing, so you want people to take the next step? In my opinion, there isn't. Okay? In my opinion, people are like, oh, I should limit it because then they're not going to buy my free stuff. It's actually the opposite. If you put more things in your free stuff, then people will then be like, oh my God, this is so much for free. Therefore, what is the next step going to be like? And especially when you're not making that much money, let's say you're making 5 to 10 grand a month, you need more clients. You need to increase marketing. You thinking that, oh, people aren't going to buy the back end, so I shouldn't give that much on the front end. It doesn't matter. You want as much people on the front end who have viewed your thing, who have given you their contact information to reach out to them, so then you can have a chance at selling these people. You need more leads, period, especially when you're starting out. Okay? So by you saying, oh, I'm going to limit so that I can keep some for the back end, that's going against your business growth as a whole. Okay? So that's probably the biggest question that I've gotten with this, and I hope that makes sense. So the last step, this is a very long process, long video. The last step is once these people have come in, and once these people have potentially taken the next step and book a call, it is closing these people on a call. Okay? So the thing is, you're not going to get people who just go and join your community and just book a call just like that. It's probably not going to happen. Maybe one out of every 10 people who join will do that. But the thing is, we are trying to fight with metrics. We want to get that 1 to 2. We want to get that 2 to 3. And one of the things that I've been implementing is when we're running the ads, we're getting people from from our ad to Skool. If we're able to get their contact information and reach out to them and call them and text them and personally reach out to them and appointment set them, that increases our ability to then sell people by a lot as well. So I've been implementing appointment setters within a lot of the clients that I've been working with so that they just focus on the content creation. I give them an appointment setter. I build the system for them. That appointment setter does all the calls. I place a closer, or sometimes a hybrid appointment setter and closer, to close the deals so they don't have to focus on selling all day. Or maybe they think they're good at sales. A lot of these people, oh, I'm great at sales. I know how to talk. It's like, okay, yeah, let's forget about you selling. Let's just place someone who's better. Let's just say even you're hypothetically a 7 out of 10 at sales. I would rather have someone who's a 10 out of 10 so then you could focus on other revenue generating activities that are potentially more important. So I've been placing appointment setters and closers within this. So then once I build the ads and the Skool for my clients and show them how to do everything, as well as organic as well, I have some organic systems that I've been running for my clients, especially brand stuff for YouTube. We pretty much implement this with them and it absolutely crushes. So on average, my process length is 5 months. If someone's starting with me from scratch, they will get to just over 10K a month in 5 months, roughly around 12 grand a month on average. Some more, some less, because some people are lazy. Some people like to go ahead and over exceed, ask a lot of questions and be really good. Okay, so this process is obviously dependent on the amount of work you put in and how committed you are to executing and being really good. So if you're someone who is wanting to build this out, if you're a health or fitness coach, or even if you're wanting to start a school in general, follow these steps, okay? And I hope you get some free value. And if you want an appointment setter or a closer, or you want the system fully built out for you, okay, go to my Calendly, go book a call with me. Myself or one of my team members will jump on the call and I'll see if that's something that I can 100% help you with. And that's pretty much the entirety of how to scale online with Skool. Thank you for watching.